Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. Saskatchewan Polytech is cutting more than a dozen positions, citing financial pressures from a decrease in international student enrollment. The post-secondary says it's losing about 10% of its out-of-scope workforce, letting go of 14 employees and leaving 8 positions unfilled. In an email to staff, the president says some departments and faculties are being dissolved or merged. Sask Polytech says federal immigration policy changes, which limit the number of international student enrollments, has created a significant revenue shortfall for the upcoming academic year. It says more difficult decisions could be necessary in the months ahead. The NDP says post-secondary schools rely on international student tuition to compensate for underfunding at the provincial level.
Which should never have been in this position in the first place. The Sask party should have never starved our post-secondary schools of funding.
CTV is waiting on a response from the province. The federal government says it expects post-secondary institutions to only accept the number of students they can reasonably support, including providing housing options for them. Saskatchewan's housing market is showing no signs of slowing down, with communities across the province breaking pricing and sales records last month. After 25 consecutive months of above-average sales and consistent supply challenges, prices keep climbing. The Saskatchewan Realtors Association says the provincial residential benchmark price hit an all-time high of $372,000 last month. That's up $2,000 from last year and over 8% higher than last year. Outside of the hottest markets in Regina and Saskatoon, Humboldt, Meadow Lake, Melville, Swift Current, and Yorkton all broke pricing records. Mortgage broker Conrad Neufeld says he's been getting more calls than ever from out-of-province buyers. He says they're being priced out of Ontario and BC and looking towards Saskatchewan.
The running theme with my conversations is, man, how does anybody afford this? So there's a growing number of population in Saskatchewan that's wondering if they're ever going to own a home, which historically is something that you would expect to see in BC and Ontario.
The Saskatchewan Realtors Association says Saskatchewan's time as the most affordable place to live is shrinking, with more housing needed across the spectrum. A 12-year-old girl is facing charges in Saskatoon after threatening an 11-year-old boy. Police were called to a park in the 100 block of Campion Crescent on Wednesday afternoon, a little before 4 p.m. Police say witnesses reported seeing a girl threaten a boy with a knife before the boy fled. No one was physically harmed, and police found the girl in a nearby home with the knife in her possession. The 12-year-old was charged with assault with a weapon, possession of a weapon dangerous to the public peace, and carrying a concealed weapon. The 140th edition of the Saskatoon Ex is wrapping up today after recording the highest single-day attendance yesterday. The Ex says 41,577 visitors came through the gates Wednesday to enjoy the midway rides, games, and attractions. The annual mascot parade was a hit for families, including the first look at the event's new mascot, Scamper the Squirrel. Last night, 90s group TLC had fans singing along and dancing at the grandstand. Late-night shows at the Kick and Horse Saloon included Canadian rock star Sask Jordan. The 8-day celebration comes to a close tonight. Saskatchewan NDP leader Carla Beck and the NDP caucus are in Prince Albert this week, speaking with local community leaders and reinforcing the NDP's stances on provincial issues. Beck also mentioned healthcare, education, and crime. The NDP says severe crime in Prince Albert has risen 7% since 2018. A statement from the province says Prince Albert continues to face challenges with crime, but there are signs of progress. The statement says the latest crime severity index from 2024 shows Prince Albert's municipal crime severity index dropping by 20% last year.
You'll continue to see us right around this province. And you know, one of the things, whether it's our meetings here in PA or in Yorkton or in Moose Jaw that we've had recently, that I am always so happy to hear is people noticing that this team is showing up.
As members have been discussing economic development in Prince Albert and engaging with Indigenous leaders about economic opportunities in the north. Well, there you go, Jeff. You know, just sort of right on the cusp of thinking it's going to rain. Maybe not, maybe it is. So what is it going to do here the rest of, at least today?
Well, today, of course, Prince Albert's been dealing with some on-again, off-again showers, but it looks like a much more significant impact, or rather rain situation is coming towards the Gateway City and area. We'll take a look at our satellite and radar shot here, and you can certainly see the big low-pressure center. It's a slow-moving low, but that counterclockwise circulation dragging that shower activity, that active weather up towards Prince Albert and northward. We really needed to go much further north, but right now we're anticipating a pretty soggy Friday, and we'll talk about that later on.
Well, harvest is close to starting across much of the province, with producers getting ready to take their crops off in the coming weeks. Crops are quickly developing over the last week, with mostly dry and warm conditions across the province. Rain would still help later seeded crops, but earlier crops won't see much benefit. Harvest has already begun for some, particularly in the southwest where dry conditions persist. Drivers are reminded to be patient and cautious around farm equipment on roadways as the harvest ramps up. And just in time for summer and the nice weather, Yorkton's new walking tour has launched. Regina has the details of how the city will take you down memory lane.
Did you know that Yorkton has a haunted coffee house, or that the hotel downtown used to be a brick storage? These are the kind of fun facts you'll hear on the new walking tour of the city's downtown.
My personal favorite stops that I find the most interesting would be the Hudson Bay Company store. I find that the building is visually appealing, and I also find that the fact that the building has been preserved and looks exactly the same way as it was when it was first built.
For early tour goers, it's literally a chance to walk down memory lane.
My wife saw it on Facebook, and we just thought it would be an interesting thing to do for a few hours.
The tour is guided by a local high school graduate with a passion for local history.
So the City of Yorkton already has a few publications out with tours. Some of them are of residential areas and some of them are of Broadway. And so I took those publications, I studied them, and I took bits and pieces from each publication and compiled them into a tour of my own.
The walk explores 18 landmarks to connect with Yorkton's rich history, dating back to its founding in the late 1800s.
I think it's a very good idea. I think more residents should be involved in learning about our city and our community.
The tour started at the end of July and runs until the 27th of August.
I find that already the first tour that I made is already drastically different from the tour that I'm using right now, and I find it will also be drastically different from the tour that I'll be using at the end, and I think that is all just about growth.
Throughout August, the Nostalgic Walk offers a glimpse into Yorkton's past. Regina, CTV News, Yorkton.
An Alberta man living in Regina has been charged with multiple drug-related crimes this week. On Tuesday, 26-year-old Cody Savrett was arrested on the 4600 block of Moutry Crescent. Officers seized drugs and cash valued at approximately $200,000. Savrett of Fort McMurray is facing several charges, including possession of a scheduled substance for the purpose of trafficking cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. He made his first appearance in court yesterday. The city of Regina is being sued by two former employees after their abrupt dismissals in April. Lee Pham was the chief of staff under former city manager Nikki Anderson. Audra Young was the director of Indigenous Relations and Community Development. They filed claims in July at Court of King's Bench in Regina. Both claimed the city dismissed them without providing compensation and other employment benefits that would otherwise have been received until their contracts ended. In a statement to CTV News, the city of Regina says it's aware of the two lawsuits, but has no further comment as the matter is before the court. The allegations have not yet been tested in court. When we come back, Broadway North celebrates 30 years with a familiar favorite, and a Saskatoon hockey star inks a new deal. Broadway North is celebrating the 30th anniversary with a familiar favorite at the E.A. Rawlinson Center for the Arts. Jasmine Pelche checks in with the assistant director of Grease, which opens up next week.
Grease is coming up at the Rawlinson Center from August 13th to 16th, and then also the 19th to the 22nd. And we're going to find out some more information about how the show's coming together. So when people come to the show, what can they expect to see?
Well, I think one of the reasons that Grease is such an enduring show is because when it first came out, it was the nostalgia people experienced when they saw it, and that hasn't really gone away. And we're kind of doubling up on the nostalgia the way that we're approaching it, because this is the 30th anniversary of the Broadway North Theatre Company in Prince Albert, and it's the 28th anniversary of us doing Grease the first time. And it was a massive success the first time that we did it. As many people will recall, that was back out at the Powerhouse Theatre across the river that Malcolm Jenkins and his team had put together. And we're now here in the E.A. Rawlinson Centre because of a lot of the work that companies like the Broadway North Theatre Company did, and the success that they had with those shows. So I think we're grabbing onto a little bit of that Prince Albert nostalgia, as well as that kind of Grease lightning nostalgia that we're looking for with the show as well.
How have rehearsals been going so far? Is there anything that's been really easy coming together? Anything that's been particularly challenging?
It's been a really fun experience so far. We have Mike Langlois as the director this year. A lot of people in this community will know Mike for his work as a musical director, as a musical teacher, as a musician. So to have him in the director's chair has made it a new perspective on the whole way that we're framing these shows. And as well, there's been a really good gelling of especially the two main cores. We have the women and the men, and the two little gangs that they have. The way they've come together and the energy that they have on stage as friends, right from the first rehearsal, they already had that bond, and it's coming across really well. It's making it a lot easier for Mike as the director and for me as assistant director to kind of dig in and get into some of the more defining qualities of their characters and their roles.
Grease is kind of an older story. Were there any changes that you guys had to make to update it for 2025?
Sure, there were. Yeah, there's a couple of things that when you watch the movie now or you read the script now, you think, I don't know how they got away with that for so long. But luckily, we have the ability to make some of those changes, and I think we've really done a good job at getting back into a bit more modern view of it. Even though the story is still set in the 50s, we've updated it to make it more palatable for everybody. Yeah. We have a tech team that's here based at the Rawlinson with some volunteers as well, I believe, and they do a really good job, but it's never a challenge. It's exciting for us every time we come in. We rehearse pretty much every weeknight, and every time we come in, there's a new piece, and there's a new thing that's been added, and it's so much easier when you're an actor to be on stage and to have those physical pieces to move around, and to be able to sit in the audience and watch others rehearsing and see how it looks with this great backdrop behind them, and where like the band's going to be up on these risers behind us, and the people are going to be dancing on these tables and things like that. So to be able to actually have those and use them in rehearsal makes a huge difference for people. Yeah.
Are you in it?
I am in it. I'm the assistant director under Mike as the director, and I'm playing a guy named Johnny Casino who sings "Born to Hand Jive," which is a very.
Can you show us the hand jive?
Yeah, it's this. That's all I got for you. You got to come see the show if you want to see the rest of the dance, and see people doing it much better than that as well. I promise. Yeah.
Just a little teaser.
Just a teaser, yeah.
If people want to find out more information about the show times or tickets, how can they do that?
Yes, the best thing to do would be to go onto the website for the Rawlinson Centre, which is earc.ca. And I want to say, when we did this show 28 years ago, we had to add 2 extra shows because it was so popular. And they used to sell tickets out of Canadian Tire. Malcolm would sell them out of Canadian Tire. And people were lined up around the store to buy tickets. And they still sold out with those 2 extra shows. So we have sold a couple thousand tickets already. It's very important, if you want to come see the show, to go get your tickets as soon as possible. It's going to be a really good time. There's some big names from the community as well. Malcolm Jenkins is actually in the show as well, and he gets to play the same character as he played the last time we did the show. So he is the teen angel. He's going to come and sing Beauty School Dropout, so there's going to be a great cameo from him. We've got Elizabeth Chamberlain as Sandy. We've got Brenner Holash as Danny, and they have a great coupling on stage. They're bringing a great energy to it, and I'm having a really good experience with it, and I'm looking forward to everyone else coming and enjoying it, dressing up in their 50s garb, and coming and having a really good time at the show.
Well, thank you for sharing that information with me and giving us an idea of what to expect.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Right after the break, Jeff has a look at the weather forecast for the next few days. And later, playoffs underway in the WCBL. How did the Berries do in their series opener? So as we look in downtown, not Sheboygan, as you were saying, but downtown Prince Albert, what kind of weather are we looking at here, Jeff, in the next, I guess 7 days is ambitious. But
well, you know, we always have a 7-day outlook, but in the immediate future, we are looking at a system moving in, as I mentioned earlier on, that is going to dump maybe up to 20 millimeters of rain in the Prince Albert area as we make our way into Friday. But right now, this system has slid through. We've had some showers on again, off again in the Prince Albert region, but we had this slow-moving low that is really impacting parts of Alberta, but we really need that rain in northern areas. We are going to get some, but not as much as we want. But let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our futurecast. Well, there's that low. You can certainly see the sort of the center of it and cycling around. And yes, some of that rain is getting up north of Prince Albert. It could go a little further north to make all of us a little bit happier, but right now we'll keep our fingers crossed that it does that. Spiritwood, a chance of some showers, risk of a thunderstorm tonight, 12 degrees, 14 for Battleford's, Rostern 14, Birch Hill's the same. Expecting some showers in Rostern and Birch Hills. Melfort expecting some showers and 15 degrees. Nipawin 16 and 15 in Candle Lake. On to tomorrow, and yes, inclement weather throughout the area. This may be a fairly sustained stretch of rain as we make our way into Friday. So showers and thunderstorms right across the region, and 17 degrees, or I should say risk of thunderstorms. They're not guaranteed, that's for certain. 17 degrees in Spiritwood, 19 in the Battlefords, 18 in Candle Lake, Birch Hills, Rostern, and Melfort for daytime highs, and 20 degrees for Nipawin on Friday. So Prince Albert tonight dropping down to 15 degrees, some periods of rain, and a risk of a thunderstorm, winds out of the southeast at 10. And tomorrow the wind shifts around out of the northeast at 15 kilometers an hour, 19 degrees for a high. Again, a risk of a thunderstorm, and we're expecting between 10 and 20 millimeters of rain for the Gateway City. Making our way to Saturday, still a chance of some showers on Saturday, 21 degrees, 24 on Sunday, so back to close to seasonal temperatures there. But then a bit of a cooling trend as we hit Monday, 22 degrees, 19 on Tuesday, Wednesday, 16 under cloudy skies, and a chance of showers in just 15 degrees on Thursday. So an interesting forecast coming up. The weekend's looking not too bad, but yeah, as I said, a bit of a cooling trend as we roll into next week.
And I wonder who's got a bigger downtown, Sheboygan, Wisconsin, or Prince Albert, Saskatchewan?
I don't know. I just said Sheboygan off camera. Gee, I'll look it up.
There
Thanks.
You go.
More homework.
Exactly. The WCBL playoffs are underway, and after a record-setting regular season, the Saskatoon Berries were humbled last night at home. In their East Division semifinal series against the Moose Jaw Miller Express, teams traded a run each in the first inning, but the Express pulled away with a 3-run second. The Berries, playing catch-up all game, were unable to tie it, dropping Game 1 by a 6-4 score. Thomas Soto led the way with 2 runs scored on 3 hits for the Express. Second baseman Abiam Medina had the same stats for the Berries. Game 2 goes tonight in Moose Jaw with a 7:05 first pitch. If necessary, Game 3 is back in Saskatoon on Friday. Ottawa Charge forward Emily Clark is sticking with the Capitals' PWHL team for the foreseeable future.
Looking for Hughes, her former college teammate, an empty net, they bury it. It's Emily Clark yet again for Ottawa.
The team announcing the original Charge member has signed a 2-year contract extension in Ottawa. 29-year-old Clark had signed a 3-year contract ahead of the inaugural season in 2024. In a statement, she says she is excited for more games at TD Place and more time in the community. The Olympic and world champion is a product of Saskatoon.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 5:26 p.m. Central Standard Time Thursday, Environment Canada has issued a tornado warning for West Central Saskatchewan. Extra care and attention should be exercised in and around the following localities: Rabbit Lake, the Battlefords Park, Edam, and Payton. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking a severe thunderstorm that is possibly producing a tornado. Damaging winds and large hail are also possible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches. Please consult local media for more information.
A new study suggests kids and young adults who spend too much time staring at screens have a greater chance of developing cardiovascular diseases. Danish researchers tracked the screen and sleep habits of more than 1,000 10 and 18-year-olds. They found those who spent excessive hours in front of electronic devices were at higher risk for health issues such as high blood pressure and cholesterol, as well as diabetes and insulin resistance. Their analysis found that each additional hour of daily screen time increased the risk of disease. Also, a new study confirming verbal abuse during childhood has an impact similar to physical abuse. It was published in the journal BMJ Open. It says people who experienced physical abuse as a child had a 50% higher risk of low mental health in adulthood compared with those with no abuse. Authors say that verbal abuse in U.S. families has increased while physical abuse has declined. Verbal abuse includes blaming, insulting, criticizing, or threatening children. So there you go, and Jeff, to sort of take maybe a negative and turn it into a positive, we all have at least one family heirloom around the house. I'm sure you do, but probably haven't seen one like this. This is a great idea here. So this woman shared her great-aunt's pickle jar as the cherished heirloom. The lid will lift up so you don't have to go digging into the pickle jar, and it's just sort of one of those things, eh? They made it better in the old days. And
what? Wait a second. I thought the pickles were going to be like ancient or something like this. I've seen these before. That's what are we supposed to be? So we're supposed to be impressed with that thing that lifts it out. That's what you're telling me here. This Tupperware product.
I don't know. Everything I see from the old days, you know, those 1950s refrigerators and all that stuff are better than the ones today. So.
By the way, Sheboygan, 50,000 people. Prince Albert, 40,000. There you go.
Close second.
Yeah, close second.
We found a rival.